Yes, hi everyone. This is Alfira from Isol, or Egyptian Star of Life Temple and School. And today we have our main teacher, Katy, Butler, and we're talking about sacred relationships and the art of love. So, Katy,
Yes,
would would you can we start by introducing yourself and why is
yes.
this important now?
Well, I'm Katy Nora Butler, and I've been working with the Egyptian Star of Life with my own Path of Love training on the Egyptian mysteries for over 20 years here now, 25 years here now, at the pyramids, and now it's come into real prominence for me. I feel inspired to put all my work now into the main thrust of us being able to love consciously with one another, because we've got to. These are critical times. We're standing on the brink of a whole new dispensation, a whole new civilization. And the only way we're going to achieve it is if we really start learning to love one another, and love one another in a different way than we've been accustomed to believe in love. And I'm talking about love, I'm talking about intimate love. I'm talking about love in love. I'm talking about being in love with a special other person who loves you in that way, about being in love with your life and in love with your other. And if you haven't got another and you don't want another, being in love with your divine other, being in love. And this is a choice, and this is important. This is such an incredibly beautiful and wonderful realm of existence, this planet. We are such incredible creatures, and we have to learn now to love and understand one another in a different way than we've been used to. The ancients, the ancient Egyptians, all the sacred principles were married. They all had their equal, special other partner. And the dynamics of their marriages, which are very sacred and special, can be easily translated into human understanding and existence now, these days, when humanity has reached such a place of almost transcendent technological expertise and understanding on some level. And if we can aim for that and translate that into our heart-centered emotional truth, we can achieve the illumined realms. And the key to that is being able to love one another in harmony and choice. We're all imperfect beings, or we wouldn't be on this planet. And women and men, and I'm speaking about women and men because that is my experience and I think my authority. I do understand very well. It's been a lifetime's work on understanding the dynamics between men and women. So I do speak of them as such. I don't have authority in looking at romantic and intimate sexual relationships between same-sex genders, but I'm sure the same principles apply, just a little more subtly, perhaps. So men and women are different from each other. They're wired differently. I mean, I've been living here in an Egyptian village where the ethos is very, very different, from the freedoms of Western civilization in terms of relationships. And I've learned so much. I've learned so much in really understanding the differences between men and women, and how they are sort of very much respected in this Egyptian village life, and being able to really apply the real respect of those differences into my own conscious experience and understanding of the relationship between and the special love that exists between men and women on that deep, eternal level. I've learned too, and I'm happily married, I might add, of course, that a happy marriage, probably with a man, probably requires, you know, a permanent state of sort of forgiveness. But that brings about, you know, great compassion and understanding. So I think probably what I want to say first about love and being in love is that, well, it's more than a choice. It's a real commitment. You can choose to look at things with grace. You must you we need to learn to embrace one another's limitations. After all, we can't expect men to be the same as women. They're not. They're different. What do we want them for? What do men want women for? Different things. And so to understand and have compassion for each other's limitations, at the same time operating from really strong boundaries and high standards, you know, that's important. We can't be so, have such high expectations of others that we're constantly trying to change them, to make them fit into some idealized version of them that we might have been fed to believe that we deserve. What we deserve is love. We deserve to love and be loved, and that's in our hands, that's in our power. So that's also a very important beginning. So to bring these dynamics of love that I've learned from my Egyptian village and, you know, my intense immersion into the dynamics of the Egyptian sacred principles, learn how to understand your different levels and requirements and how to marry them to your divine levels at the same time that you can have a harmonious, joyous, intimate relationship with your partner without expecting that strange ideal, you know, to come between you. The sacred marriages of the gods, you know, are interweaving. They interweave through our consciousness, teaching us how to balance our outer with our inner, our masculine with our feminine, our eternal with our transient. I'm a bit worried about the sheep. She's sort of being naughty. Rashida, excuse me a moment. All right, Rashida, come and sit down. There's a good girl. Now, that's it, good girl. So anyway, we put out some questions. We've asked some questions. Noah has asked the students and asked friends.
Yeah, would you like to go through the questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put your questions, because these are questions that people have asked about love, and I think it's a very lovely moment for me to kind of give you what my take on these questions. These are questions that you're all asking about love and the things that preoccupy you. So let's.
So, can we talk a little bit about the purpose and the intention when going through a relationship and holding the sacred marriage?
The purpose and the intention of
Yeah.
a relationship. Well, the purpose and the intention of a relationship is to be empowered by love, is to be strengthened by your love, is to have your whole life enhanced by the act and being and state of loving. That's the intention of relationship. That's what now it helps, it's very helpful, of course, and cements the relationship if you've got a shared vision. And I suppose there comes a point where a shared vision becomes necessary for the relationship to evolve and grow and continue in a committed way. But the purpose of any relationship is to share and learn and grow and love. That's all it is.
That's beautiful, Katy. And another question was like how to lead a relationship that will always blossom more rather than die.
Well,
like
a
what's the
relationship,
teachings?
yes. Well, the teachings is you know, that intimacy, yes, intimacy, loving intimacy, shared union, physical union, you know, magical, sacred sexuality, respectful, humor, laughter, forgiveness. Um, these things, these things ensure that a relationship blossoms where you support one another's growth and become empowered by your loving, that you don't get lost in the loving, that the loving empowers and strengthens your own vision, gives you authority, gives you focus, gives you strength. That's when relationships blossom. Relationships founder when one hands over power to the other and subsumes their will to that of the other in the hope to maintain them. That never works. Individuality is the key, really, to partnership. Solve et coagula.
Yeah.
Separation, the most valuable part of unity. Let the winds of heaven, you know, blow between you. So, but yes, regular physical intimacy, you know, that is blessed and honored, that'll definitely help any relationship to blossom between lovers. Yes, one should always be lovers and always be present. That will also help a relationship to blossom. The fact that you don't hang on to grudges and pain, you let it go and you live and you learn.
Yeah.
You grow. Mm.
And I believe, Katie, as well, like relationships are one of the best vessels to grow. So if we look into that, you know, like if we take it
Yes.
as a way to always grow and
Yes.
to grow together
Yes, to
rather
grow
than being
together,
challenged.
but to grow separately as well, you know, that the relationship gives you the focus of learning to love in a deep and eternal way. And when you can love in that way, you actually, it opens up, it acts as a key, you know, to much deeper and wider realms of love. The endlessness of love itself becomes yours when you learn, you know, to love in that way and to love yourself in that way enough, you know, to love another person in that way, your chosen other, who, no matter what would happen in the future or whatever, is your chosen lover for now. And not to think, oh, you know, you'll do until the real thing comes along. You know, that goes on. That's not right. You know, whoever you're with is your chosen lover for that time. And be eternal in your loving presence with that lover.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Katie, how do we know that this relationship is a potential for growth, or that's now is the right time to let go? Like, what are the criteria that you would share for people to know, like,
Whether,
okay,
yes. Well,
this is
you've just
time to
got
let
to,
go?
but it's in your heart, isn't it? I mean, one never wants to let go. I think some of us, some people are better at letting go than others, you know, but I think if you stay on the side of love, you can't go wrong. If you start looking at dependency or, you know, fear that you won't find anyone else, or, you know, if you're not on the side of love, if you are on the side of love, you will love and your relationship will change, transform, melt away. Something better will come in for you if you put the love first. If you don't put the love first, you know, you're going to put yourself in a sort of living hell, really. You know, you
Mm.
can't be in a deep, intimate relationship with anyone if you don't put the love for them first. There's no other reason. So if there are pragmatic reasons or fear reasons, you know, they won't allow you to let go, but love will always allow you to let go. Love for love. I'd like to make clear, you know, that esoterically, it's in the tarot, for example, if you look at the Lover's card, you will see that the man is looking at the woman with love, and the woman is looking at the angel of love that is beyond the cloud. And I think that this is the way energy works. You know, men are in love with women and women are in love with love. And I think that this is a very proper and lovely dynamic for men and women. You know, I think that a woman can love being loved and love and love her man from that place. But I think men usually love their women first. And I think women feel good about that. I think that makes women feel more in love with love and more able to engender love when that love's coming for them, you know, from their beloved man. I think that I think that's quite a good point here and quite a good dynamic. I think people have been acculturated by 19th century romantic novels and Hollywood and Disney, you know, to think that this transcendent love for love can be returned by one's husband. And I think that's asking far too much of a human man. I think this is where a lot of relationships go wrong and women start to feel abused. They feel weakened by their love rather than strengthened by it. And I think that needs to change.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, Katie,
Any other
can we
questions?
talk
Yes.
a little bit more? Yeah, can we talk a little bit more about the difference between soulmates, twin flames, and a life partner? Like, if there is any differentiation or between the three kind of relation.
Soulmates, twin flames, what was the other one?
And life partners.
Oh yes, life partners, task companions. Yes, life partners who are task companions, who come together, you know, to establish a vision, a higher vision, and work together. That, you know, that's one level of relationship which is not as intense. But I mean, I think that it's possible to have little bits of everything in one relationship. There are times when you can be a twin flame, and times when you can be a task companion, and times when you can be a soulmate. I think that intense. So I don't know, twin flame means I suppose you were sort of cast from the Tao at the same time as another fragment, and sometimes you'll meet up and feel, you know, this tremendous sense of empathic kinship. But that doesn't mean at all, you know, that you can work together happily in partnership with that person. In fact, far from it. And then you've got that sort of intense passion, you know, which is kind of a wonderful experience on a level, but it doesn't really allow for you to get anything else done. I mean, I grew up with that. My parents had that, passionate lovers, and you know that nothing ever got achieved. You know, they would hold on to one another so much with their passion for one another that my mother died quite young, and I suppose that was all right because you know, my father was able to realize his art and his music after she went, but he couldn't while she was alive. There was so much intensity between them. So, you know, that's quite a rare thing, I think. And of course, it's the stuff of love stories and legends and, you know, people who are, you know, of a loving nature and of a transcendently loving nature are looking for that kind of thing to happen for them in everyday life. And thank God, you know, thank goddess it doesn't happen all the time in everyday life, because nothing would ever get done and nobody else would ever get helped. So there are, you know, different, but as I say, I think it's possible to write your own script, you know, and decide for yourself, you know, and feel these feelings, because they're all aspects of love and you're capable of feeling them if you want to. And that's the consciousness of love and the strength of love and the power of love and the necessity of love now. So I will mention here that we're doing another course. We're doing a course on the sacred marriages of the Egyptian god and goddess, starting on the 18th of October and running for 10 weeks. So if you're interested in that, let us know. And that, just by the by, I hope this has been informative or amusing or
Katie, I have
instructive.
one last question, if possible, please.
All right.
And I'll make it quick. I wanna you to share, like, how can those teachings be useful, even if I'm single or if I'm not intending to have any romantic relationships, like how this can change the alchemy internally as well as outside in other relationships.
Well, when you're in harmony with your own polarities, obviously you're going to attract a much more productive and abundant life. It's like when you're happily married, it creates stability, it creates prosperity for you and your dependents and your adherents. And when you're polarized, happily having a working relationship with the divine, the gods, the divine masculine principles married, your outer levels, your aspirations, your yearnings, for growth and achievement on the outer levels are married, to your deeper selves, to your truth, to your own personal subtle bodies, that you have here on this level of existence. When they're married, when they're happily working together, living and laughing and forgiving and understanding each other within you, well, then your entire life will become much more blessed. And
Yeah,
that's what we all need.
so I think if someone is single, they can still harvest the medicine of
Yes,
this course
of
to
course,
create the life they
of
want.
course. If someone wants to be single, of course. And if someone's single and they want to be married, well, it will certainly encourage that. It will allow them, to find their love, after all, if that's what they want. But if that's not what they want, then they will find their inner relationship with the divine, and balance that and be married to that. There's the sense of excitement and joy, in the sort of bridal level of being, engaged and happily married, the power and status that brings. There's the stability, of the working relationship with the divine, where it's a constant attention. And then there's the passion, then there's you've always got that powerful link, with the divine, whenever you need the inspiration or, the power, to make a big shift, as you've suggested earlier, you can find that power. You can just meet your challenges, bring them on, because you've got that connection to your higher divine levels on tap.
Thank you so much, Katie.
Okay. All right, darlings.
Okay.
God bless you all. God
Okay.
bless you all.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.